Most people can edit clips inside CapCut, but they still can't make videos that people actually like to watch. So after all the lessons we've covered so far, today we're finally going to put everything together and create a complete video from start to finish. But here's the issue. Most beginners learn the effects, transitions, and flashy animations, but when they actually sit down to edit a real video, they get stuck. The timeline becomes messy. The pacing feels wrong. The video starts feeling boring halfway through. And no matter how many effects they add, it still does not feel okay, and it doesn't bring the vibe they are looking for. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you the exact process I use to turn a raw script and voiceover into a finished YouTube video that pro editors actually make. And pay attention carefully, because later in this lesson, I'll show you the small editing decisions that quietly separate beginner edits from pro ones that most video editors completely miss. I already have the script and the voiceover ready, and in this final lesson inside CapCut, I'll show you exactly how I take those two things and turn them into a full edited YouTube video. Just to let you guys know, this video is going to be the first lesson of our next course, which is going to be ChatGPT. So by the end of this lesson, you'll see a real editing workflow using almost everything we learned throughout this entire CapCut course. Hopefully by now you understand how to use effects with purpose, how to use B-roll correctly, how to structure videos, how to keep videos clean instead of messy. And now it's finally time to combine everything together. One important thing before we begin, the blue AI character was created in a completely different AI tool. So in this lesson, we're mainly focusing on the editing process itself inside CapCut. The pacing, the structure, the layering, and the emotional rhythm, because that's where editing becomes storytelling. And once you understand this part, you stop randomly placing effects and you will start controlling attention intentionally. So let's begin editing our first real full project together. Step 1, importing everything. The very first thing I'm going to do is create a new project inside CapCut. Now I'll import the voiceover, the character footage, B-roll, music, sound effects, and all the extra necessary info that I have. And this part may seem boring, but organization matters more than beginners realize, because once timelines become complicated, messy files become stressful very quickly. And trust me, if you've ever opened a project and instantly felt overwhelmed, it's usually not because editing is hard, it's because the workflow is chaotic. So even before editing, I like creating folders for music, B-roll, sound effects, and main footage. Small habit, but huge difference. And every experienced editor eventually learns this the hard way. Okay, let's use this name for this video. Final_edit_real_v2_last final. Now that everything is organized, this is where the editing process starts becoming much smoother. Step 2, adding the voiceover first. Now the first thing I always place on the timeline is the voiceover. I don't do effects, music, and transitions, only voiceover, because the voice controls the pacing of the entire video and everything else follows it. So good editing usually starts with listening carefully, not editing immediately. Most beginners rush to add effects too early, but if the pacing underneath is weak, no amount of effects can save the video. So before cutting anything, I'll play the voiceover once and just pay attention to the energy. Where does the narration feel fast? Where does it slow down? Where should the audience feel tension? Where should things breathe? That emotional map matters more than effects, because editing without emotional awareness usually creates random videos. And later, you'll see how this single step quietly affects retention throughout the entire video. Step 3, building the rough structure. Now I'm placing the main visuals above the voiceover. At this stage, I'm not trying to make the video beautiful yet, I'm just building the structure. Think of this like building the skeleton first. And watch carefully here, because beginners often waste time polishing scenes too early. Don't do that. First, build the full timeline, then refine it later. That workflow saves enormous amounts of time, and actually, this is where many people get stuck. They keep restarting tiny sections over and over without ever finishing the actual video. So instead of chasing perfection immediately, focus on momentum, because unfinished, perfect scenes never become finished videos. Step 4, cleaning the pacing. Now I'm starting to remove unnecessary pauses, and this part is extremely important because pacing is invisible, but viewers feel it immediately. For example, watch what happens when I shorten this silence slightly. How do some people use ChatGPT to learn faster, work faster, and solve problems in minutes? Now suddenly the video feels more focused, more intentional, and more alive. And that's the strange thing about editing, because small changes create emotional differences that people can feel, even if they can't explain why. So, while editing, always ask yourself, does this moment still deserve its time? If not, cut it, because if the pacing is wrong, viewers leave before the value even arrives. And later in the lesson, I'll show you one tiny pacing adjustment that instantly makes edits feel more pro. Step 5. Adding B-roll. Now I'm going to start layering B-roll over the voiceover, and this is usually where videos begin feeling more alive. But pay attention here, because most people misunderstand B-roll completely. They think B-roll exists to fill empty space. That's not true. B-roll is mainly used to control attention. For example, if the narration talks about confusion, I may show cluttered visuals. If the narration becomes calm, I'll slow the visuals down slightly. If an important sentence appears, I'll usually change the visual immediately to wake the audience back up. So I'm not adding footage randomly, I'm just supporting emotion. That's the real purpose of B-roll. And this next part matters more than most beginners realize. The timing of the visual change often matters more than the visual itself. Now watch this section carefully while I edit, because timing is what keeps attention alive. Step 6. Zooms and movement. Now I'm adding small zooms and very subtle movements, because once people discover animations, they suddenly want everything moving at all times, like a zoom, a shake, spin, and a flash. So here's the real rule. Movement should guide attention, not distract from it. For example, when an important sentence appears, I may slowly zoom in. That creates focus naturally, but if every clip is animated, nothing feels important anymore. So, contrast creates impact, not constant intensity. And this is one of those small differences viewers feel subconsciously. Pro edits usually feel calmer and more intentional because they know when not to move things. Step 7. Adding music. Now let's add background music. See how much emotion changes immediately. Same visuals, same voiceover, but a completely different feeling. And that's how powerful music is. How do some people use ChatGPT to learn faster, work faster, and solve problems in minutes? So when you choose music, don't ask, does this sound cool? Instead, ask this. What emotion does this create? Curiosity, reflection, tension, or energy? And always keep the music quieter than you think. Some people usually make background music too loud because silence feels uncomfortable, but good music should support the narration, not compete with it. So, the voice is still the main character. Step 8. Sound design. Now I'm adding sound effects like small whooshes, clicks, atmosphere, and transitions. But notice something important. I'm using sound effects carefully because great editing is usually invisible. You shouldn't constantly notice the editing itself. You should feel it. That's the difference. Good sound design creates immersion quietly, and bad sound design feels like someone throwing kitchen utensils at the timeline. Step 9. Captions. Now, let's generate the captions. Inside CapCut, I'll go to text and click on auto captions. Then I'll clean the captions manually afterward, because automatic captions are useful, but not perfect. Sometimes the AI creates sentences that sound completely unrelated, so always review captions manually. And another important thing is to always keep the captions clean, readable, simple, and easy to follow, because captions exist to improve clarity, not become visual decoration. And if viewers struggle to read your captions, attention drops immediately. How do some people use ChatGPT to learn faster, work faster, and solve problems in minutes? Step 10. Transitions. Now let's take care of the transitions. This is where beginners often over-edit, because CapCut gives you hundreds of transition options, which feels exciting at first. You need to understand by now that every transition attracts attention, so if things change dramatically, attention is lost. That's why restraint is important. Step 11. Color and final polish. Now I'm doing final visual adjustments like brightness, contrast, sharpening, and color balance. Also, this part is important. Cinematic editing is usually subtle. You don't want viewers distracted by aggressive effects. You want them focused on the story. So every visual adjustment should answer one question. Does this improve clarity or emotion? If the answer is no, remove it, because beginner editors often add effects simply because they exist. Pro editors usually remove distractions instead, and that difference changes how polished the final video feels. Step 12. The final watch through. Now comes one of the most important parts of editing. That's watching the full video from beginning to end without touching the timeline immediately. And every time I do this, I notice things I missed earlier, like a pause that feels too long, music slightly too loud, or a cut that feels awkward. That's normal, because editing changes when viewed as a complete emotional experience, not individual clips, and this final watch through is where videos quietly become better, like tiny refinements, tiny emotional corrections, and tiny improvements the audience may never consciously notice, but they will absolutely feel. And this is usually the moment where the video finally starts feeling complete. Exporting the video. Now the video is finished, so I'll export and use these settings like 3840 by 2160 4K, high bitrate, usually 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second depending on the project, and then that's it. The project is complete. But here's the interesting part. Exporting the video isn't really the end, because every finished project quietly teaches you something about the next one. And that's how editors slowly improve. Not through random hacks, but through repetition and awareness. At first, editing means cuts, effects, transitions, and music. But the real reason editing matters is deeper than that. Actually, editing is emotional control. You're guiding attention, rhythm, energy, silence, tension, and release. That's why some simple videos feel powerful, while some heavily edited videos feel empty. Effects alone never create emotion, but intention does. And once you understand this, you stop editing randomly while you start editing with purpose. Remember earlier when I said editing feels like storytelling? Here's why. A timeline is really just a collection of moments, and your job as an editor is deciding which moments deserve attention, which moments deserve silence, and which moments should disappear completely. And that's what I call editing. Sometimes clarity doesn't come from adding more, it comes from removing distractions. So now you know how a full YouTube video is actually edited inside CapCut, from raw voiceover to final cinematic export. But more importantly, you understand the thinking behind the process. And once you understand the thinking, editing stops feeling random and it starts feeling intentional. So take your time with your timelines, because somewhere inside those messy clips, there's already a story waiting to appear. Please hit the subscribe button to support my work. Thank you.